Imagine a world where the rule of law is put to the test, and the very fabric of our justice system is pushed to its limits. This is exactly what's happening in the ongoing saga between the Trump administration and the U.S. courts. But here's where it gets controversial. A U.S. appeals court has just blocked contempt proceedings against the Trump administration, sparking a heated debate about the limits of executive power. The case in question involves the administration's use of a 1798 law to deport hundreds of Venezuelan migrants to El Salvador, a move that has been met with fierce resistance from the courts. And this is the part most people miss. The appeals court's ruling is not just about the lawfulness of the Trump administration's actions, but also about the role of the judiciary in holding the executive branch accountable. The court's decision, made by a 2-to-1 majority, has been met with criticism from those who argue that it undermines the rule of law and sets a dangerous precedent for future administrations. But what does this mean for the future of immigration policy in the U.S.? And how will it impact the lives of the migrants affected by the administration's actions? To understand the complexities of this case, let's take a step back and look at the events that led up to the appeals court's ruling. It all started when U.S. District Judge James Boasberg ordered the Trump administration to stop using the Alien Enemies Act to deport migrants to El Salvador. The administration, however, refused to comply, leading Boasberg to find grounds for potential contempt proceedings. But the appeals court has now blocked those proceedings, citing the complexity of the issues involved and the need for further review. The ruling has been met with disappointment from immigrant advocacy groups, who argue that it will only serve to embolden the Trump administration's aggressive immigration policies. On the other hand, the administration has hailed the decision as a victory, arguing that it vindicates their use of executive power to enforce immigration laws. But here's the thing. This case is far from over. The ruling is likely to be appealed to the full circuit court or even the Supreme Court, where it will face even more intense scrutiny. And this is where it gets really interesting. The Supreme Court's decision could have far-reaching implications for the future of immigration policy in the U.S., and could even impact the balance of power between the executive and judicial branches. So, what do you think? Should the Trump administration be held in contempt for refusing to comply with the court's order? Or was the appeals court right to block the proceedings? Do you think the Supreme Court will ultimately uphold the administration's use of the Alien Enemies Act? Or will they rule that it's an overreach of executive power? Let us know in the comments. As we wait for the next developments in this case, one thing is clear. The rule of law is under siege, and it's up to us to defend it. The Trump administration's actions have sparked a national debate about the limits of executive power and the role of the judiciary in holding the administration accountable. But as we move forward, we must remember that the rule of law is not just a principle, but a fundamental right that underpins our democracy. And it's up to us to ensure that it's upheld, no matter what the cost. The appeals court's ruling may have blocked contempt proceedings for now, but it's far from the end of the story. In fact, it's just the beginning of a long and complex journey that will take us to the very heart of our justice system. So stay tuned and let's see where this saga takes us next.